Midpoint, welcome. It's so good to see you guys again. I've been away for a couple of weeks, but I'm now back to hang out with you and worship with you. So, yeah, so happy to see y'all. I want you to repeat after me. Here we go. You know how it goes, though. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, whoa, your turn. As loud as you can. Whoa, let me hear you. Whoa. There were walls between us, and by the cross you came and broke them down. And broke them down. And there were chains around us. By your grace we are no longer bound. No longer bound. You called me out of the grave. You called me into the light. You called my name and then my heart came alive. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. Oh, oh, feel the darkness shaking. All the dead are coming back to life. I'm back to life. Hear the song awaken. All creation singing, we're alive. 'Cause you're alive. You called me out of the grave. You called me into the light. You called my name and then my heart came alive. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. All right, guys, we're gonna do something a little bit different. When we say, we shout it out. I want you to shout out because we're alive, or we're alive because you're alive. All right, I want you to shout it as loud as you can so we can hear it and proclaim that out in Jesus' name. So here we go. And what a love we found. Death can't hold us down. Here we go. We shout it out. And what a love we found. Death can't hold us down. We shout it out, we're alive, 'cause you're alive. And what a love we found. Death can't hold us down. We shout it out, we're alive, 'cause you're alive. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. Your love is greater. Your love is stronger. Your love awakens, awakens, awakens me. All right. It's coming on the clouds. Kings and kingdoms will bow down. Every chain will break as broken hearts declare his praise. For who can stop the Lord Almighty? Let's sing it out. And our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. And every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before Him. So open up the gates, make a way before the King of Kings. Our God who comes to save is here to set the captives free. For who can stop the Lord Almighty? And our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before Him. And our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before Him. For who can stop our God? Oh, who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Oh, who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Oh, who can stop the Lord Almighty? For who can stop the Lord Almighty? For who can stop the Lord Almighty? No one. For who can stop the Lord? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before Him. And our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before Him. So cool worshiping with you guys. You can go ahead and have a seat.
What's up, everybody? How you all doing? What up, Saturday Squad? How's your week going so far? Not too bad? Yeah, all right, cool. Hey, my name is John, and I am your Saturday Squad resident. I'm so excited to be here with you guys, and so excited for everything that's been going on this week. And you know what I want to also talk about is Summer Peak. Are you guys still excited about Summer Peak? We love to continue to talk about Summer Peak, and we know that, you know, you guys are getting excited for it too. But, you know, I was actually, I hope it doesn't interrupt this, but I was expecting a call from Pap. Oh, excuse me, I gotta take this real quick. Hello?
Oh, hello there?
Oh, hey, is this Pappy?
This is old man Pappy.
It's Pappy. Can you guys all say, what up, Pappy?
Oh, hey.
Hey, everyone's here. They all say hello. What's going on, Pappy?
Oh, you know, just being old man Pappy down here in the mine, just digging for gold.
Oh, okay. Are you finding anything good?
I haven't found a thing, just an old stinky pair of socks, that's all.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Probably my socks.
What's going on?
Well, you know, I'm trying to register here for Summer Peak because I want to go this year. I don't know what weekend to sign up for.
Oh, well, that's easy. You just go to the grade that you typically go to. So for you, that'd be 5th and 6th grade because, you know, you read at a 5th grade level.
Oh, well, are you making fun of old man Pappy?
No, not at all. I would never do that.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, too. How much does it cost?
Well, right now it's it's going to cost you $250, but you better sign up quick because it's going to go up in just
man.
over a week.
What if I give you 100 cans of bean and a heifer, a cow?
Well, that's a pretty good offer. I might be able to negotiate with you. We can always negotiate, and especially for your friends, if you have any friends that don't know Jesus, they can come for free.
What about old Betsy, my friend, the horse?
Well, I'm sure we can find a place for Betsy, too.
All right, good. Well, I'm going to sign up then. Thanks for helping me out, John.
All right, thanks, Pappy. Appreciate it.
See you later, everyone.
All right.
Bye now.
Okay, thanks. Well, there you guys go. There's a sneak peek at Pappy. He joins us for almost all our camps, and so you guys will get to meet him at Summer Peak. Make sure you register. If he can figure it out on what week to register, so can you. Just go to our Midpoint website and click on your grade, and let's make this thing happen, okay? Hey, we're going to be launching into a new series, and so what we want to do is we want you guys to tune in and learn on something new. This series is called Switch. Let's check it out.
Well, hey, y'all, any SKSKers in here? Some? Okay, a couple. Well, we had a really incredible week here with Super Kids Sports Camp. If you've never been involved with Super Kids Sports Camp, you got to do it next year, okay? Basically what happens is it's a elementary school sports camp that our student ministry runs, okay? So all of our middle school and high school kids are counselors, and we have college kids that are clinicians, and it's just really, really awesome. So you got to come next year. You're going to absolutely love it. Now, today, we're going to be doing this new series called Switch. And what's going to happen is over the next several weeks, we're going to be going through the life of Peter and see what Peter has been going through. And today, we're going to be talking about this word grace. Okay, you're going to hear the word guilt a lot, and we're going to come up. I'm going to come up and sort of wrap it up at the end. But for right now, let's check out and learn a little bit more about Jesus' grace for us.
What's up, guys? Hey, have you ever thought about how many times a day we switch things on and off? Like the lights, your alarm, your hairdryer, your phone, the TV. In fact, yesterday I tried to count how many times I flipped a switch of some kind, but I had already lost track at like 10 a.m. It's so hard to do. You should try it sometime.
We're pretty reliant on the on-off switches in our lives, and when they don't work, when we can't turn something on or off when we really need to, it can drive us pretty nuts, right? When I went to college, I had gotten this brand new alarm clock for graduation. It was awesome. It was an alarm, a radio, and even a CD player, and that was like state of the art back then. So I had to move into my dorm with my roommate and had to put my alarm clock across the room on my chest of drawers. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I didn't have my parents anymore to make sure I got up and made it to class, so this way it would force me to get out of bed and shut the alarm off. The first day of class came and I heard the alarm go off. And I heard the alarm go off. And I heard the alarm go off. And then I heard a loud explosion as my roommate picked up the alarm clock and threw it against the wall. After I got a new alarm clock, I moved it next to my bed so that I could just switch it off when I didn't want to get up. Whew, it was my first lesson of college.
I know I'm not the only one. I think to some degree, we all know what it's like to struggle with flipping that switch on sometimes. And I'm not just talking about alarm clocks or televisions anymore. I'm also talking about our faith. Because sometimes it feels really hard to keep our faith turned on all the time. And by faith, I'm simply talking about our ability to believe in and trust in God.
We all have a certain amount of faith. All of us, regardless of whether you're a new Christian or if you grew up having a relationship with God, have some level of faith, however small it may be. But there are always going to be things we experience that make it difficult for us to have faith in God. Difficult to believe, difficult to trust. Sometimes those things can be so big and so powerful that they actually turn off our faith, like a switch.
So if there's a question we can't answer, our faith is switched off.
If there's a prayer that doesn't get answered and our faith is switched off.
We're all going to experience moments like this. We'll all encounter hard questions we can't answer. We'll all ask God for things that we never receive. We'll all make bad decisions that fill us with guilt.
But what if those moments don't have to switch off our faith? What if God could use those moments to make our faith even stronger? To switch on our faith in ways that we never thought possible? To transform those difficult experiences into moments that help our faith grow and change and become something more than it was before? And for the next couple of weeks, we're going to look at things that can switch your faith on in brand new ways.
It can probably be argued that one of the best examples of a person who had their faith in God switched on was a man named Peter. As one of Jesus' 12 disciples, Peter was one of 3 disciples who had the closest relationship with Jesus. Peter loved Jesus. And after Jesus went back to heaven following his resurrection, Peter was one of the great leaders in the early church. He told people everywhere about Jesus, and he did so knowing it could cost him his life. Peter is remembered as a man who was bold and had great faith. But here's what's interesting. Peter's faith wasn't always so big or great.
Luke, one of Jesus' other disciples and Peter's friend, recounts for us a story that demonstrates how little faith Peter actually had at one point in his life. In this story, Jesus had been arrested and was about to be put on trial for his life. Because they had followed Jesus, all of Jesus' disciples were afraid for their own lives. After Jesus was arrested, Peter followed Jesus to find out where he had been taken. But Peter was so scared that he hid himself in the crowd. And Luke tells us that a little girl saw Peter and recognized him.
A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, "This man was with him." But he denied it. "Woman, I don't know him," he said. A little girl's question scared Peter so much that he denied ever knowing Jesus at all. In this moment, Peter's faith didn't switch on at all. He was scared to death and didn't trust God to take care of him. But then it got even worse for Peter. 2 more people came up in the crowd and asked him if he knew Jesus. 2 more times, Peter denied even knowing Jesus.
Can you imagine denying or betraying one of your closest friends? I mean, how would you feel afterwards? Well, Luke tells us exactly how Peter felt. He felt horrible. He felt guilty. And after Peter denied Jesus, Jesus looked straight at him. I mean, can you imagine being Peter in that moment? Can you imagine, after all of his fear, his circumstances, and his poor decisions, how easy it would have been for his faith to just switch off completely? But listen to what Peter did next.
He went outside and wept bitterly. This story doesn't paint a picture of a man of great faith. This seems to tell the story of a man who did something wrong, who failed in a big way over and over and over again. 3 times, in fact. Imagine what Peter must have feared, that perhaps Jesus didn't like him anymore, that his supposed faith in God had all been a sham, and that maybe Jesus could never use him again.
My guess is that none of us have been in a situation exactly like Peter's, but we've all been in positions where we did something wrong, maybe even repeatedly. And like Peter, we've maybe even feared that God couldn't use us ever again. Maybe you've been struggling with that same sin over and over again.
Maybe you feel guilty about the way you consistently say hurtful things to your family.
Maybe you need to be more generous.
Maybe you continue to look at things online you shouldn't be looking at. You know it's wrong. You hate how it makes you feel, but you can't seem to stop.
And maybe you've even thought something along these lines. I know God loves me, but I've messed up so badly, He'll never do anything great through me. Maybe you believe that your failures have switched off your faith.
Maybe you're afraid that because of what you've done, your faith is simply stuck where it is. I think Peter gets that. I wonder if Peter worried that God would still use him to do great things. But as we talked about earlier, Peter is known today all over the world as a man of great faith. So how did Peter go from being scared, guilt-ridden, and faithless to being bold, brave, and one of the greatest men of faith the world has ever known? What changed? What switched on his faith? It was a truth he learned in a conversation he had with Jesus.
After Jesus' resurrection, he made a point to ask Peter a question. When they'd finished eating, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said. "You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs."
In other words, Peter, I know that you love me, and I need you to get in the game. I've got big things for you to do. Jesus, in that moment, wanted Peter to know that despite his mistakes, despite his sin, and despite his guilt, he had big things for him to do.
Peter saw that Jesus was offering him a second chance. And not just a second chance, but a third, a fourth, and a fifth. Jesus was offering Peter exactly what he needed: grace. He got something he didn't deserve. And when Peter realized that his mistakes didn't disqualify him from being used by God, it strengthened his faith.
God switched on Peter's faith when Peter let God switch his guilt to grace.
Jesus poured grace into Peter's faith, and it bubbled up, spilled over, and literally changed the world.
And the same thing can happen for you. If you feel guilty, if you feel like a mess up, and if you feel like God could never use you, do what Peter did. Let God switch your guilt to grace.
All of us, just like Peter, can have a difficult time believing in God's grace. It's far easier to believe that God is mad at us and done with us forever. But if you want to switch on your faith in a new way, you've got to believe in God's grace. Because it's His grace that allows us to believe that no matter what we've done, God is never done.
Let Peter's example give you hope. When you mess up big, Jesus forgives big. Jesus never runs out of second chances.
So I was talking with some of your leaders a little bit earlier about this whole grace idea. And the truth is, there are certain sins and certain things that we go through that we just really struggle with, right? It's like we can't get over it. And they mentioned that in that video. So I know that there is part of that with us. And some of you in here, you struggle with that part of it. You struggle with, man, how can He forgive me for this? I keep doing this or I keep doing that or whatever it is. I just don't understand how He can forgive me. But then there's other people that struggle with just the opposite. And some of you know some of these people. You might even be one of them, where they almost take advantage of God's grace, right? It's like, oh, well, God forgives me, so I can go ahead and do whatever I want to do, right? They have sort of the opposite effect of what we're talking about today. And so as we're talking about this, Jack mentioned something. And Jack, I want you to draw the thing that you were talking about, okay? I know I told you I was going to call you out, and I'm definitely doing it. I'm going to bring over this whiteboard, and I want you to draw. Come on up here, man. I want you, come on. All right, so grab this sucker, and let's see if you can do this. Yeah, you may have to go down at the bottom. Is the thing still there? Is the marker still there? Yes. Yeah, okay. All right, just be really loud. Just yell really loud.
All right, so we're gonna need you guys to think a little bit here. So God's grace can be very confusing. On one side of the spectrum, I'm gonna draw a train track. God's grace is like a train track, right? I'm gonna label sin up here and grace. Got the little railroad tracks. And here's what it is. We can use God's grace either as a license to do whatever we want because we know that God is going to forgive us. Or we can believe that what we've done has gone too far. So over here, we have this thing. It's called licentiousness. You don't have to know this word. It's just a big word to say. Basically, because God's grace covers everything, I can do whatever I want. But that's outside of the train track. That's outside of what God's grace is used for. Then on the other side of the spectrum, we have this thing called legalism, which is another big word that you don't need to know. Basically what this is that God's grace doesn't cover everything. That there are certain things that God just can't forgive just straight up. You have to do something about it. But here's the truth, guys. Sin and grace do not lie here or here. They lie in the middle and on the train track. And on the train track is this. There's nothing that you can do that God can't forgive. But that doesn't mean you can abuse that. Because God still calls you to do the right thing. He still calls you to live great lives. And when you live inside this train track, let me tell you, you got a smiley face. Thank you.
Awesome. Give it up for Jack, man. Thank you very much, sir. That was great. Well, what I want you guys all to do right now is I want you to stand up. And as you stand up, we're going to sing one more song. And with this last song, I don't know where you are on this perspective, okay? I know that, from what Jack said, it might be you're soaking in all the grace and it's all good, or you need more of it or whatever. But one thing I do know that everybody needs in here is more of God's love, right? And his love is sinking deep. It's all over us, and we just need to accept it. So let's pray before we worship. God, be with us. Help us to accept your grace and your love in this moment. Lord, let us sing it back up to you even. And for any of us that struggle with your grace, God, help us to know that that's how much you love us. That's how much you care about us. If any of us abuse it, Lord, just convict us in this moment too. Either way, Lord, we just want to sing this song out to you now.
Standing here in your presence, in a grace so relentless, I am won by perfect love, wrapped within the arms of heaven, in a peace that lasts forever, sinking deep in mercy. See, I'm wide awake, drawing close, stirred by grace, and all my heart is yours. And all fear removed, I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your love. When I'm lost, you pursue me. Lift my head to see your glory, Lord of all. So beautiful. Here in you I find shelter, captivated by the splendor of your face. My secret place, I'm wide awake, drawing close, stirred by grace, and all my heart is yours. And all fear removed, I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your love. Your love. Your love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my one desire. Lord, hear my only cry, to know you all my life. Love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my one desire. Lord, hear my only cry, to know you all my life. Love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my one desire. Lord, hear my only cry, to know you all my life. Jesus Christ, you're here, you're now. Let's sing it out with just our voices. Your love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my one desire. Lord, hear my only cry, to know you all my life. Love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my one. Lord, hear my only cry, to know you all my life.
I don't know about you guys, but one thing that I've tended to do as I've walked with Christ over the years is when I mess up, when I sin, I kind of put myself in this like spiritual timeout where I feel like there's this period where like I can't talk to God, I can't have a relationship with God, He wants nothing to do with me, and I just lie to myself in that, and I think that, you know, God doesn't like me anymore, God just doesn't want to be with me, and for a certain time period, I just feel so distant from Him. But what I've found is that God doesn't want that. That when we mess up, He wants us to run back to Him right away. That there's not some magical time period where He needs time to be mad at us and to forgive us. He's already forgiven us. He's already paid that price. He's already died for that sin. He's already covered over it. So what I encourage you is that when you mess up, that when you sin, don't push yourself further away from God. Don't say, hey, I can't have anything to do with you right now. But turn back to Him right away. Go to Him right away. Make that relationship right as soon as possible. And you will find that you get closer and closer to Jesus as you build that relationship and as you turn back to Him sooner. So that's my encouragement to you guys. That's what I've learned over the years of following Christ. We're going to head off into our small groups. Ladies, staying here. Guys, meet across the hall. We'll help you guys find your way into small groups. I know we're missing a couple leaders today. So just wait around and we'll help you out. Thanks.